Hold on. A rocket company just bought an AI coding tool for $60 billion. That's not a typo. And by the end of this video, it's going to make a lot more sense than it sounds right now. Welcome back to Quantum Tech Sage. In this video, I'm breaking down the SpaceX Cursor deal, what actually happened, why it happened, and what it means for anyone who writes code with AI. Here's the headline. On June 16, 2026, SpaceX filed a $60 billion all-stock acquisition of Cursor with the SEC. That's a rocket and satellite company buying one of the most popular AI coding editors on the planet. Cursor's pulling in about $4 billion a year in revenue, and $2.6 billion of that is from enterprise customers. So this isn't some scrappy startup. It's a serious business. On the surface, this sounds completely random. Stick with me, because it isn't. Quick refresher in case you haven't used it. Cursor is an AI-powered code editor. It's built on tools developers already know, but with AI woven directly into writing, editing, and debugging code. It's not a niche tool either. It's used by solo developers and large enterprise engineering teams alike. It's growing fast. It's built entirely around an AI-native workflow, and it's genuinely one of the category leaders in AI coding tools right now. That's the company SpaceX just bought. Let's break down the actual numbers. $60 billion is the total deal value. And it's all stock, meaning Cursor's shareholders are getting SpaceX equity, not cash. $4 billion is Cursor's annualized revenue, which is the number this whole valuation is built on. And $2.6 billion of that, almost two-thirds, already comes from enterprise accounts, which tells you this is a mature, monetizing product, not a hype stage startup. So why does a rocket company want a code editor? Honestly, the connection isn't SpaceX itself, it's xAI. SpaceX merged with Elon Musk's xAI earlier this year, and that merger puts Cursor inside the same orbit as xAI's massive Colossus compute cluster, one of the largest training clusters in the industry. Put those two things together. A coding tool with millions of daily users, plus frontier-scale compute. And that combination is the real prize here, not the rockets. And this isn't just theoretical. There's already a joint AI coding model in development, reportedly for several months, which means this deal is formalizing work that was already underway. Step 1. It's trained on Colossus, xAI's large-scale compute infrastructure. Step 2. It ships directly inside Cursor, the editor millions of developers already use every day. And Step 3. It's also expected to power a separate product called Grok Build. So this is a coordinated push, not a one-off acquisition. Here's the actual timeline. The filing happened June 16, 2026. From here, the deal needs to clear regulatory review before it can officially close. And that approval is still pending. If everything goes as planned, closing is expected sometime in Q3 2026. So this isn't done yet. It's signed, sealed, but not delivered. If you're actually a Cursor user, here's what this likely means for you. On the likely side, more compute behind every AI suggestion the editor makes, tighter integration with xAI's models over time, and, at least in the near term, Cursor keeps developing independently. But there's real uncertainty too. We don't know if pricing or plans will change after the acquisition, how much independence Cursor's team actually keeps, or whether this deal clears regulatory review exactly as filed. So, cautiously optimistic. But don't assume nothing changes. Zoom out for a second, because this deal doesn't exist in a vacuum. 2026 is shaping up to be the biggest AI infrastructure consolidation wave we've seen. SpaceX itself is reportedly targeting a $2 trillion valuation in its own public listing, in the same window as OpenAI and Anthropic's IPO moves. And AI coding tools have become one of the most contested pieces of that whole landscape. Owning the editor that developers already live in is a direct way to put a frontier model in front of millions of daily users. That's the real strategic logic here. Before we wrap up, 3 things worth keeping an eye on. First, regulatory approval. Big AI-adjacent acquisitions are getting a lot more antitrust scrutiny in 2026 than they used to. Second, developer trust. Will Cursor's existing users stay loyal once it's owned by a much bigger, very differently focused company? And third, competitive response. Rivals in the AI coding space are not going to just sit back after a deal this size. Worth watching all three over the next few months. So here's the real takeaway. AI coding tools just became infrastructure, not just software. Whoever owns the editor owns the front door to how code gets written next. And that's exactly why a rocket company is willing to spend $60 billion on one. If you want me to keep breaking down stories like this as they happen, then like, hype, and subscribe to Quantum Tech Sage. I'll see you in the next one.